Hello, everybody. Tracy Hackler back with another fantastic edition of Roadshow Roundup. You'll notice, obviously, the screen is not as populated as it usually is. That's neither here nor there. It's just a statement. We have four of the Roadshow brethren coming to you tonight. Trey Huntsman, Kentucky Roadshow, Justin Channels, only the ferociously bearded Justin Channels from the Roadshow, right. California Roadshow tonight in Sonoma, and then absolutely ferociously bearded Kevin Kulikowski from New York Roadshow in Bronxville. And thank you once again for joining us, gentlemen, and thanks to our AWL's award-winning listeners or AWV's award-winning viewers for tuning in again. We're going to bring you up to date on everything we're doing at Roadshow. We have big vision, big plans. We got one shop open in Lexington that's been rolling for over 18, 19 months. Then we have Texas, California, New York, just about to open. Texas is not here tonight. Cody Krim usually looks something like this with a dark background. He's not here tonight.
He sends his regards, though. He had a good reason for missing the podcast.
He does send his regards. Good reason for missing. But so, gentlemen, and we're also missing Ryan Channels, the other California Roadshow brother.
We don't know if he's alive at the time of this recording. Like we honestly don't.
He's getting a new phone.
Do what?
He's getting a new phone is my suspicion.
Since 7 a.m. California time this morning.
Yeah. Isn't that what time it is now?
Interesting.
His razor stopped working.
No, Justin's razor stopped working. So what's going on? So busy couple days last week for Kentucky with voluminous new product sales. Right? Am I accurate in saying that, Trey?
Yeah, it was awesome with WWE. We projected it a little bit last week. And sure enough, it kind of blew up over the weekend, jumped in price and jumped in sales. And I've got a little bit left at the shop, but it's been awesome. People pulling really cool cards. Probably the biggest one so far. We had an orange rock to 99 get pulled. That was pretty awesome. A few gold to some big names.
I was going to say the gold Roman Reigns is the
Roman
big
Reigns
the gold Roman Reigns, the gold Finn Balor, the Roman Reigns auto. It's been pretty cool. Also, what's going on with Finn Balor? He's kind of freaky looking. Like every time they pull him, I need to exercise some demons or something.
He is the demon, right?
So the demon Finn Balor is his alter ego that only comes out in big main event matches. On a normal day-to-day, he is just your typical Irish looking fella.
I feel like I need to pray after somebody pulls one of his cards or something.
I mean, especially because and it's so funny because in WWE programming, they don't call it this or call him this, but on the Prism card it says the Demon King Finn Balor. Like it doesn't even just say Finn Balor, and he hasn't brought out the demon persona in well over a year now at this point. So that card is so cool looking, and like I have a red one, and the color match on that.
I love color matches.
Is just
the gold was in
awesome.
The same box as the Rock tonight.
Really?
Wow. That's a hot box.
The Roman auto and Roman gold were in the same box too.
Were they really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So when it's hot, it's hot. And then this week we got encased in contenders. So
I'm super excited. Encased is like
Kevin
one
wouldn't
of my
know
favorite football products.
He got destroyed by that case.
It's true.
Oh yeah, Kevin's WWE case was rough. But
what was your best hit?
A Braun Breaker base auto, which
that's what Jimmy hit yesterday.
Now that which again, like that's the best rookie to get, but like now that the dust is settled, that's maybe like a $500 card, maybe.
I think it's like $320 now.
Oh, is it? Well, there you go. Make me feel even better.
Thank you, Trey, for fact checking on the fly there.
Right, aggressive. Sheesh.
So Wednesday this week we have Contenders basketball and Encased football. And then Friday for Justin, really, and a few others, Dahmer's Racing will be live. And then also
Topps Champions League Soccer.
So kind of a
and Overtime Elite Chrome basketball.
Oh, is that coming out this week?
Is coming out Friday as well. That's pretty cool.
Retail's already hit shelves for it, but the hobby release is Friday.
Well, I can
People
say
were
that
ripping
Trey
early
and I,
boxes of that at the Mint, right?
Oh, really?
I
didn't see any.
Which
I
one?
think they
Which one?
of Overtime Elite
Elite?
Chrome. I feel like they were giving out like sample boxes to influencers at the Mint.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Right?
I saw somebody ripping one on Instagram. I don't know if it was at the Mint, but I know
because
that
then Bleecker did an event with them as well where they were ripping it early.
I need to be more influential.
Right, which I was surprised to. Hack, if you didn't get one, man, what's going on
really?
here?
I mean,
He's not cool enough. The overtime thing, a little younger crowd.
Right.
Trey and I were there in Arizona when they first talked about the guys from Overtime came and talked at the Tops conference about those products. And I think there's something there.
I think it's a really cool gateway for them getting back into basketball with the whole Fanatics and the licensing. Right. I think it's kind of them dipping their toe back into it and saying, hey, we make basketball cards now. Because that was kind of their whole marketing campaign was Topps makes basketball cards.
Yeah.
And doing it again. So it's a really cool idea. And I think it's going to be something that probably sticks around in some form or fashion. I could see in, say 5 years, whenever they've got the NBA license, maybe that's something that mainly switches to an online only format if they really want to go that way. But it is a really cool way for Topps to be in the basketball sphere for now until they start doing the NIL stuff and they bring all of that in. It's a pretty cool idea. And if you haven't seen the cards, I actually think they look awesome.
Yeah, they do look good.
So I'm looking at their sell sheet now, and I feel like Topps is getting into this habit now of just making every Chrome card for that year look the same. Yes. Right? Because these feel a lot like Formula One with the lines. You can't read the names, like the Champions League, like with the Steve Aoki, you had that. But I will say the 1969 inserts look awesome.
That's what I was,
And I'm going to Superfly inserts look really good too. Yes. I'm going to show maybe a little bit of my sports ignorance here and say, like, unfortunately for me, I have no idea what Overtime Elite even is. And I don't know how many other people fall into that category, right? We're like, yes, it's awesome. Yes, this is cool. But I kind of wish that Topps would have took the opportunity to return into the basketball sphere with their like that teased finest of people like basketball players not in basketball jerseys, right? Because we've seen those, we know it's coming. And granted, I know Overtime, I see here they have over 55 million followers across social platforms. So like it definitely is big. And I think it's clocking in on Blowout right now, pre-release at a $225 price point. Like I think for Chrome, like, you're not busting shiny products that cheap anywhere else.
The only thing that worries me is that day, like when we were at the summit and they were talking about guys that were in that set talking about it. It did worry me a little bit about the future of some of the people you were pulling. Sure. Because let's say like compare it to like what we talked about last week, how I like Stars and Stripes baseball. Like at the very least, you get some 18-year-old. Maybe he goes to Vanderbilt and becomes some superstar in college. These guys, like if they don't make it for Overtime Elite, that's it. Like you're kind of investing in like the last stop before they go to the draft. And I looked at the mocks, and I haven't looked at a mock for them in a while. But I think like the earliest draft point was like 55th or something in this year's class.
It's a lot of risk.
Yeah.
It's a lot of risk. If you like the cards,
I mean, I guess
let me pull it up right now, actually.
Like you said, Trey, I mean, I think it's one of those things where they have their following, right? And it's wild to say this, but in today's trading card world, $225 at a box for a lot of people is just it's a low end box, right? That's
an entry. Yeah,
it's an entry level box, and so for folks, and this happens. I feel like this happens a lot in up until Prism, this happened a lot in wrestling, and this happened a lot in Star Wars, where you have the fans who buy the product and aren't necessarily immediately running to eBay to see what the card they pulled is worth.
Yeah,
but they appreciate they appreciate it. And maybe that's what Overtime is going to tap into, right?
I think they are.
If they have the following for it, then
right.
So
And
be
it's
it.
just of that following, does it translate directly into cards? But then the other question, and I think they're doing an amazing job of this so far, is driving the hype machine.
Overtime has such a loyal following, and they're huge on the high school level, but also primarily basketball and football. And the one thing I think they have in their favor is that a lot of their influencers, and I know they're not huge names on the basketball circuit, but they're going to be actively promoting their cards on social, whereas you might not see Giannis promoting his new release or whoever, but Mikey Williams might might be promoting on his social. He's got millions of followers, and it could be a nice short-term play for the Overtime brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that might be kind of what Topps is hedging their bets on a little bit pre-NIL with all of it, because they're going to bring out the Bowman U. And I actually think, I haven't seen designs or anything, so I can't really say, oh, it's going to be great. But if they're doing that the right way, that's going to be huge. Because even just looking at some of the stuff Leaf and Onyx is throwing out, like I move that stuff and shop. People care about that. It's not some random fly-by-night thing. Like it's an easy sell for a cheap price point. So this might just be kind of them like dipping the toe a little bit into a much bigger market with Overtime. And if it doesn't work out, then you did 1 year of Chrome for it. Like, that's it.
I think the whole to piggyback off your comment, like dipping your toes is really just like to get the idea of the market, right? So what, obviously from their side, from a business standpoint, like look at the sales, look at the interest, look at the amount of clicks when it goes live, how fast does it sell out, or if it sells out. But I think, there's a market for anything. I mean, we have a box of Game of Thrones sitting on my desk right here. So, I wouldn't think of Game of Thrones, watchers as card collectors, but, if there's the interest for it, and obviously, like you said, the big social following, then you can make it work. And I think it's a great idea. I'm in Kevin's boat right now. I don't know enough about it. And so I am one of the few that don't know it. So maybe I'll grab a box and see what it's about. But I love the idea.
That is a bold approach.
Yeah. Or a couple of singles or something.
I have no idea what this is. Take my money.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody listed in the first round on CBS, which I probably will not be trying a box.
Yeah. So then that's the kind of research.
Send preview boxes.
That's the kind of research that these things take. But I'm all for trying new things. So I like the idea of it. And obviously, if the market is there, I want to be able to take advantage of that or capture that market. So,
are you excited for Donruss Racing?
Guys, Superfractors this year.
Don't think they're called that in this product.
Sorry, gold vinyl.
How
dare you?
We were just talking about Topps. We were just talking about Topps.
We were talking about Topps.
Have they never done gold?
A good one. No.
The nerve of you.
Have they never done gold vinyl in Dahmer Soccer?
What, soccer? No.
I mean Dahmer's Racing. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
Isn't gold vinyl out of 5 normally?
Well, now it's 1, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm looking at the sell sheet.
Oh, Haley Deegs. Oh, Haley Deegs.
Okay, but hold on. Nowhere does it. It just says hobby exclusive gold vinyl. It doesn't say that it's a 1 of 1.
I think they're 1 of 1s, right?
I would imagine
soccer gold vinyls are out of 5.
Don't worry about that too much.
No, because that's Prism, right? Prism gold vinyls are out of 5. Optic gold vinyls are to 1.
Hey, Bubba.
Panini, I love you guys, but can we get a universal standard numbering system? It's like the metric system versus like when you go overseas and they're trying to measure something. Like
one of my favorite, real quick, Justin. This is a great story that ties in perfectly with what Kevin. One of my favorite things of all time is when Justin. You probably remember the first year that Donruss NASCAR had cracked ice.
Yeah, the contender.
Okay, so historically cracked ice was really limited, and like when they first started numbering them, it was like to 25, and then it was like 23. So like in Contenders products, cracked ice was like one of the best parallels to get because it was limited to 25 or less, and in many cases numbered. When Dahmer's NASCAR did cracked ice the first time, they were numbered to 999. Like, just think about how the brand developers had worked so long to make cracked ice this really cool thing. Yeah. And then Dahmer's NASCAR says, yeah, they're numbered to 999 going forward. It's like, what are you doing?
There's a lot of inserts in some of these Donruss boxes.
So what's worse, numbering a cracked ice card to 999 or just randomly now putting them in as non-numbered prisms?
I don't care. I think those things look sick.
Oh, they look amazing. Like they're
Kevin, to answer your question, numbering them to 999 is worse.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think so.
But anyway, sorry, Justin, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you're good. You're good. No, I'm just excited for the new release and having it so close to the Sonoma race is really cool too. And I believe this is the first NASCAR release of the year.
Don't throw any punches over it though.
As far as
no.
Oh, that was just referencing the fight in NASCAR this past weekend.
Speaking of NASCAR and Justin Channel's unbridled excitement for the sport. Remember at the club Hakshan in Vegas?
Yes.
Didn't you pull like 2 101s out of the same National Treasure box?
I did. And the coolest thing was we did it. Tim Trout was there too. So
dude. Ryan, please go find this video on the channel's Instagram because it's awesome.
1 of 1 Tony Stewart! Let's go! Oh my God! Danica Patrick and Haley Deegan! Let's go!
Yeah.
I've never seen Justin was jacked, man.
It's one of the biggest cards in the product.
I know, and you pulled it at the nightclub.
At the nightclub at the Mid Collective.
Nothing says look out, ladies, like I'm ripping National Treasures Racing in the nightclub. Take that right now.
Yeah. The whole thing with that too is we're walking down to like the main stage to find the place to break it. And Hackler goes, so what are we looking for in this, bro? And I'm like, hey, we're looking for 1-of-1s. And we pulled 2 of them. We pulled a Tony Stewart.
The first card was 1-of-1, wasn't it?
The very first card in the box, dude. We had people coming over. It was so cool. And then I pulled, and we'll put the picture up on the screen of this. I pulled the redemption for Haley Deegan and Danica Patrick, their dual autograph platinum 1-of-1, which was nuts.
Ridiculous.
This was after you pulled the Junior Johnson and the Richard Petty and all that in Kentucky.
Yep. I've had insane luck with this. I mean, it's hard not to love it when there's like the boxes are loaded. I mean, where else can you get National Treasures for $400 a box? Like,
yeah, you're right. And like we used to laugh at Tim Trout because we would always talk about how his is the only product that people can buy at SRP, right? It's also one of the products that delivered really high value, no matter what the price point was.
Guys, Panini's coming out with Phoenix H2 as well this year.
Phoenix football?
Yeah.
Huh.
I really like Phoenix, but I don't know if there's a market for the H2.
Those complete sets sold like wildfire.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I see what you did there. Wildfire, Phoenix, rising from the ashes. I see what you're doing.
Harry Potter, like it.
So Champions League Soccer, the base product,
comes out this week.
Releases on the 15th.
Yep.
Champions League Chrome comes out on the 27th. So not even 2 weeks, 12 days.
I don't understand that.
That's wild.
You can get through paper. You can get through paper in 12 days, bro. It's all good.
It takes you 12 days to sort a box of paper. It is officially play-in before the playoff.
The playoffs?
It's the playoffs before the playoffs right now. And at the time of recording, wow, it is decently close in Brooklyn right now. They're not going to cover the spread. It is a 6-point game with 45 seconds left.
Wow.
Which is very specific as to the time we're recording.
Cleveland gave it to the Bucks the other day, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't go down without a fight.
I mean, they were down 20 at the end of the
over.
first quarter, but now 8, you get into the territory of the spread, which was 9.5. All right. So
why do you know the spread so well?
Because I have buddies who are degenerate gamblers, and if they're AWLs, I hope you won your bets today. If they're not, I hope they lose, man. They got to stop gambling on this stuff. But all right. So at the time of this recording, we can all but say that the Brooklyn Nets have advanced to the playoffs, and they will be the 7 seed
against Boston.
Later on tonight, we have the Clippers versus the Timberwolves.
Okay.
Healthy
Paul George is back and in full swing.
Playoff P?
Pandemic.
He's pushing playoff.
He's playoff P now. I don't know what Kawhi's deal is, but the Timberwolves are 3.5-point favorites. So Las Vegas is liking the Timberwolves in this game here.
Are you taking
the hobby if Anthony Edwards plays in the playoffs?
Playoff? No, that'd be great.
So what do we think, gentlemen? Who if you're picking Clippers or Timberwolves?
Oh, Minnesota. That's my favorite.
Norman Powell.
I would say the T-Wolves because I want Cat to perform well at the highest levels.
Fair. Like
and Trey, you should want that too.
And I would much rather win the game against. I'm looking at the bracket here. The win puts them against.
He's always looking ahead to what does Steph Curry going to do to be in the top 5 player of all time.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to do much, but anyway, he's
so cocky, dude.
They win and they play Memphis. They lose. They have to play the loser of the New Orleans and San Antonio.
Yeah.
Nobody wants Memphis, bro.
Which then the winner of that has to play Phoenix. So I'd much rather play Memphis than I would Phoenix.
I don't know if you would. I don't know if you
I don't
want
to play either of those teams.
You guys are in trouble, Joe.
What?
I don't know. I never saw the results of it.
As of now, we don't know. He's still a game time decision.
Isn't it ironic that his suspension was reversed and
for him to play in a game that then didn't matter because they couldn't lock up the 3 seed anyway?
Yeah,
they didn't think the injury was significant, though, right?
Okay, but it's still annoying.
Yeah,
it's the time of the year when you want everybody at full health.
Right.
Yeah, if you have a
now we just need the Mavericks need Spencer Dinwiddie to drop 87 points in game 1.
He can do
it. Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson out there looking like Jason Terry and
Iron Man Powell. Golden State wasn't the only team with an Iron Man this year.
Oh.
Can you go do some content with some 14-year-old that's going to win, like Miracle on Ice and 2034 or something?
He's in next year's.
I could actually.
We should just go there and start trying to sign 7-year-olds to NIL deals.
That's legal.
I know.
Yes, it is.
I don't know what the age is you can sign, but if I see some kid doing some and one mixtape stuff down on the the blue courts here in Lexington,
can they bring back and one
Can we have
professor? Did y'all ever go down the rabbit trail and find the professor videos on Facebook?
Escalade.
I used to go to the Rucker as a youth.
You didn't
watch
them.
That's legit, bro.
Swear, being legit. Right there, I absolutely did.
It Legend, dude. Legend at that place.
I'm not gonna lie.
They were actually my generation's Harlem Globetrotters. Right?
Yeah.
They had a video game.
They were like superheroes, bro.
They were.
Yeah.
And wow, I don't know. I miss End One. I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole later and
just go check out some of the professor stuff because he's the nicest dude you'll ever meet. And all his videos are great because they start off with him kind of minding his own business, shooting at the park, and somebody talking smack that they can beat him. And so then it's 15 minutes of him schooling this dude, but they're all the same one. This guy's talking smack from the sideline, and they challenge Professor, and then he does all of his tricks, and the Professor always wins. By the way,
spoiler alert: the teacher
Yeah.
knows
He beat
answer.
Collision champion Kevin Kulikowski?
He could,
Bro,
for
he
sure.
would put me on my butt in like 2 dribbles,
But
honestly. Like,
think about this, Kevin.
I
As you
try to
brought
take a
it up,
charge though.
yeah. Oh, you would.
Team player.
He would whiz by you so fast. But
Correct.
but think about the height of AND1 popularity. Imagine if
Sure.
it coincided with the height that we're in of trading card popularity and what that would
You're
do.
100% right. And I'm sure, younger me would have bought every single box.
The professor was at the Panini booth one year
Yeah.
at the National.
No, 100%. And I think I think like to close the loop on Overtime Elite, like that product goes as far as Topps wants to take it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and if they, and like you said, the athletes themselves can carry it, because I can't tell you how many times, like over the course of opening boxes, collecting, right, you pull an auto of a guy that's not even going to sell for $2 on eBay, but then you like see some video of that guy being either like hysterical or that guy being like super nice, and then like it, not to say that it like justifies the fact that it's a $2 auto, but you feel better about it then, right? Where you're like, okay, whatever, like at least he's cool.
It's like
And
pulling
so-
somebody in soccer with like a cool haircut or something, and you're like, oh, cool. Like, this is a defender for Salzburg, but look at that mohawk, dude. I love this guy.
Dude, I've got the best Admiral Scofield collection known to mankind, and it's
I
because
love it.
he's such a great dude that he learned cursive for his basketball card signing sessions. Like, he didn't know cursive until he got his autograph contract, and he said, I need to do this right. I need to learn cursive, and he learned it. And so I've got virtually just about every autograph he ever signed. And they're all worth $1 or less, but I love them, and they're worth way more to me than that.
That's awesome.
My primary PC is a guy who averages 4 points per game in his career in the NBA. Like,
Why do you like him?
I went to college with him the 1 year that he was at St. John's, and I worked
Okay.
with the basketball program. So
You want to tell our AWLs who that is if they don't already know?
Mo Harkless, ladies and gentlemen, and if you are sitting on any high end or low numbered, at the rare chance you're sitting on any, although I will say that he shares a duel with Kawhi in National Treasure's rookie year.
Oh, his
And
rookie year, yeah.
So those pop up, and if anybody randomly is holding that 1 of 1, I have the out of 10, the out of 25, the out of 99.
He's got 98 of the 99 is what he's not telling you.
Oh my gosh, no! I have. You know how they had the jersey number immaculate acetate parallels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the patch autos numbered to the jersey number. I have like 10 of the 21 from his rookie year.
That's awesome.
Like
That's really
it's wild. I too have almost every autograph that Mo Harkless has ever signed on a card. And this is unofficial BTS action for our AWLs, but I also might semi have something to do with the fact that he is still in Panini products, because one of the people on Panini's basketball team, who is a dear friend, said to me that he was going to get a new deal done with him just so I can continue to chase his cards in product.
That's awesome.
So
that reminds me of the Rob Springs getting Vance Johnson to sign autographs so I could have Vance Johnson Broncos autographs to collect. And I'm still forever grateful to Rob for doing that. Trey, do you have a player? Do you have a player like that that's not like super valuable, but that you love or you track down?
Pretty much everybody I collect. Yeah, it's awesome. That's expensive. All my players suck. It's great. Marcus Mariota.
Yep.
Former Oregon players.
I still have a nice one for you that I need to just get in the mail. That booklet.
Let's
come
see.
on, Kev.
I mean, Dansby Swanson is probably my best, and that's my biggest PC.
He's good though, right?
Yeah. But
is he valuable or no?
Is he valuable?
Like on the market, is he?
In Trey's heart.
What are his Bowman rookies doing? What are his first Bowman?
Not anything crazy. Like it's not super expensive. I'm sure it was last year when Jimmy was picking up, the entire print run of a lot of his stuff. But
market maker Jimmy Mayhead.
Yeah. But yeah, Dansby, Marcus, Oregon guys, and pretty much just Titans. So everything I collect is extremely mediocre.
Yeah.
And I just added Jonathan India to the list because I just love that dude.
Yeah.
And he won Rookie of the Year, but he's like 25, and he looks like Jack Sparrow, and I like watching him play. So, like, I don't collect anybody that's super risky.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Derrick Henry's not exactly cheap, but I'm pretty blessed for all my guys to be extremely mediocre.
Yeah. What about you, Justin? Is there anybody? I mean, I know the big
Speaking
guys,
of
but
mediocre,
Yeah. Hey, watch it.
speaking of mediocre,
Derek Carr.
semi-stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's your?
I collect a lot of, like, it sounds funny, but it's like, yeah, a lot of the A's players. My main guy, and this is shout out to Mark Canha. I think he's just got traded to the Mets, or the Mets picked up his contract. I love his stuff. I have a lot of his stuff. I actually put out a bounty because he just signed a contract with Topps in 2020. I put out a bounty for his first 101.
Wow.
The first pack of cards he ever had a hit in was Definitive Baseball. And so when that came out,
You bought all of it, right?
Well, I just knew I had to have it. I was like, he has a 101 for the first time. And I could I'll find the tweet, but I did this whole thing, and it took me a few months, but then it was really, really cool. One of the coolest things is that as soon as it popped up, the community was like, Justin, go.
You got it?
I got it. Yeah. So
That's
I own it.
Oh, let's go.
I'll send a picture so we can put it up
That
here.
never works out like that.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for my white whale cards that are
Yeah.
out there.
That was probably one of the coolest hobby chases I've ever done, because I had never done that before. We're like, okay, this product is out. I'm looking for the 101 of this player. It turned out I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know if it was going to be a logo man or it was going to be whatever. But it's Mark Canha. It's his majestic logo patch, and since it's from Definitive, it has the sticker on it, so you can tell he actually had like a couple of hits and RBI that game. So it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Those guys. And then obviously, like, my NASCAR collection is pretty, like, some of the higher end National Treasures, like 101 booklets, can get pretty pricey, but like
you have an awesome NASCAR collection.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I need to show you mine. I keep reminding myself that I need to do that, but
yeah, but I tell
I'm
everyone,
slacking,
like,
guys.
NASCAR.
Yeah, let's go, bro.
Yeah. It's the sport I collect for fun. So like William Byron won this week, and I have his, like, an autographed booklet card of his, and I think I bought it at a show for like $12, and it's like the kid's awesome. He's his low 20s, and he's just as great as anybody for Hendrick Motorsports, and super bright future. And you can buy an NT booklet for $12. Like, that's what I really like about the sport. Plus the Legends autos are super cheap too.
Do you drink natty ices when you look at your NASCAR cards?
Maybe.
Throw on some shorts and just kick it.
Maybe I have a Tracy. You've seen my hat.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to ask a question.
Let's not show that one any again.
I was going to ask a question for each one of you. Your house is on fire. Your family and pets are safe. All your heirlooms. What is one card you're going after before it all goes down?
Oh, man.
Do you want the real answer or the corny answer?
I want corny. I want as corny as possible, because my answer is corny.
Hold on.
Man, that's a tough one.
Well, we're getting – this is the first time we've ever seen Kevin's legs.
Wow. That's a tough one, bro. I can only take one. Damn.
All right, here we go. This was the birth announcement of It's a Boy that we did official Topps trading cards.
We have one of those at the shop in the bathroom.
Yes. So you actually do. So that's the corny answer. My real answer is my 2018 Blue Ice PSA 10 Luka.
Corny is probably I have this Yu Darvish 101 from 2015 Topps Museum collection. It's the first 101 that I ever pulled, and it's one of those things, like, right when I got really into collecting. And obviously, I'm a history guy. I now have a master's in museum studies, and so I was getting my history degree at
To see
Arizona
you using that every day.
Yeah. So just to have all of that, and then that's when I first learned about a museum collection. Actually, I didn't buy a whole box. I just bought a mini box, and I ended up pulling the 101. So that card is very special to me, and I always say that's one that'll never leave. Just because, I could never get another one like it. So I actually completed the rainbow for it and the whole thing. It was pretty cool. But probably the one card I would grab, and this is another one, like all of my cards are replaceable, but the one I don't think I could have the same
the memories aren't.
Like probably my 54 tops that Hank Aaron signed for me. I feel like because he signed it for me, sure I could go buy another one, but I can't buy another one that he signed for me just a couple months before he died. Like I think that one's really cool. So yeah, I'd go with that. What about you, Hack?
Are
you digging for it right now, Tracy?
I found it, and this is a corny answer, and it's also a serious answer. And if the house is burning down around me, I'm not getting the Always. I'm not getting the other really nice cards I have that are might have more value. I'm keeping that one right there, brother.
I still don't have one of those. I need one of those.
The T-Hack Auto Mem, bro. That's the one I'm going to keep.
Is that game worn underwear that complete with holes?
There's no underwear left after Tracy.
No.
The underwear version of the underwear parallel of that card is limited to just 3 copies because that's
look at that picture and tell me what
that they had left.
What makes you think I'm wearing anything other than that shirt? But then my wife and kids would kill me because that's the only card I kept. So I'm gonna die regardless.
I think my corny one is either, so whenever I was a kid, my dad went to the card shop and on my 7th birthday or 8th birthday, whenever, brought me a ton of packs home and I pulled a LeBron rookie out of it. And then I think whenever I would have been either 21 or 22, I asked my mom for my stocking for some like Prism basketball from 2019.
Nice.
If she could find any, and I pulled a Zion Prism rookie from it.
Oh, cool.
So I have one from my mom, one from my dad. That was kind of like both like bookends of like the hype train in basketball. So like those two, even at the peak of Zion, when a PSA 10 was how much ever, I was like, I'm not grading that. I'm not selling it. It's too cool. And I still have the first pack that Emily ever got me. Still like I opened it, put the cards right back, and it's sitting in there. Like I'll never. It's 2017 Top Series 1. Like we were broke and smoke. We were like $8 total in the bank account, going to cookout every night. And I remember like I was having the worst week in college, and she got me like a thing of gummies and a pack of cards. And I was like,
love, bro.
So
wow, that's wonderful.
Isn't that crazy?
I saw this has been the best podcast we've ever done.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cody, that you're missing it for your good reason.
And Ryan. So besides the corny one, it would probably be this. It's the Vin Scully Transcendent BGS 9.5 to 25.
Nice.
And it's actually got a really cool story to it. So right before,
tell us.
Let's hear it. Yeah, come on.
I want to tell you. So right before we got started on the whole Roadshow thing, me, Jimmy, and Alex Connell Collection on Instagram got really close during COVID. Like texting, calling.
That's not what you're supposed to do. You were supposed to say 6 feet
not
apart.
Like physically, Kevin.
We were all holding hands.
You're ruining the story.
Sorry.
We were 6 feet apart. We were all in different states, so technically we were 6 feet apart. But we're about to do this. Me and Jimmy were meeting a lot in Lexington to kind of finalize what my role was going to be, shop manager, all of that. And about 3 months prior, he had asked me what my dream card was, and I said that. And right before we got started, we were on FaceTime with Connell in Lexington, and he gave me that card. I'm not going to lie. It's the first time I've ever cried over cards. Because Vin Scully's the reason I'm a Dodger fan. And because whenever I was in college, that's what I would stay up all night listening to. It was Dodgers games. And it was the coolest connection to it because my dad and I would listen to Vin Scully when I was home. And it was the coolest thing. And like, that's one thing I think overall, I mean, this might be the one, house on fire. Emily's probably safe in this situation. I'm taking the Vin Scully.
Emily and Scully are
yes.
are gone with you.
Yes.
I love it. That's awesome. Solid question, Trey.
Yeah, thanks. It's that journalism.
Yeah,
We actually doing something.
Right.
That's what we do here at the Roadshow Roundup.
Maximize degrees.
Yep. You know, we also have a special guest this week.
We do.
I did a quick interview. Yeah, we do.
All right, wait. Let's play the guessing game. Is it
okay?
Josh
Yeah.
Giddey? Is it Josh Giddey?
Okay.
Is it Bucky?
No, it's not Bucky. It's not Josh Giddey. It's a fair. Those are both fair guesses.
Where do we know
Is
this
it Rich Layton?
You're really close. You're all wrong. Our special guest is somebody who is at the forefront of bringing women to the hobby.
Oh,
It is Sara Layton, who is with her husband Rich, half of Layton Sports Cards, and she was nice enough to sit down with us this week and talk about the big promotion she's doing for the National and getting women more involved and more accepted into the hobby. So she had a lot of good stuff to say. I've known her for a long time, love her to death, and love what she's doing as a company, Roadshow Cards, who has embraced women in the hobby so much that they were at our trade night last year and will be again this year. We felt honored to be able to talk to Sara. So enjoy that. All right, I am joined now by a dear friend of mine. I'd like to say that I know Sara Layton more as a friend than as a business partner, but she's both. And Sara joins us to talk about some big changes, some big progress that's been made in the sports card world. But for those who don't know, Sara and her husband Rich are Layton Sports Cards. And Sara has been integral in the success of Layton Sports Cards since it started back in 2012. So, Sara, first of all, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. You've been at the forefront of a lot of stuff in this industry in your years of service since 2012. But I got to think one of the things that's maybe close to the nearest and dearest to your heart is forging a path for fellow women collectors. Is that true?
That is so true. Yes, we started in 2012. I became a full-time employee, owner of Layton Sports Cards about 6 years ago. So initially, I was very much, I would tell Rich, this is your thing, you're doing it. And of course, here we are today. I still work with, I work full-time for our business. But it's been the last 2 or 3 years that I've really started to change my own thinking. If people would ask me, I would say that my husband owned Layton Sports Cards. And now I made a conscious effort to change that because I own Layton Sports Cards and I didn't want to kind of, I guess, sit back as much. So when people would walk up to me at the National, I guess it was 2019. It was right before everything shut down. People were like, "Oh, do you work for Layton Sports Cards?" And I was like, "I am Layton Sports Cards. I'm Sara Layton. Nice to meet you." And that was like my whole thing. And I'm actually going to have a T-shirt made that says, "I am Layton Sports Cards."
I love it.
But we started a online Facebook group. It's called Women in Cards. And we created the group not to really alienate anybody else, but to really create a safe space for women who collect, who had questions, who wanted advice, who just wanted to show off their collection that they had and not really be ripped apart for it. The internet can be a really, really judgmental and really harsh place. So we created the group so that everyone would feel safe and be able to ask questions that most people would think were kind of, basic, that they should have already known, and they don't. And here we are 3 years later. We've grown so much. We started, obviously we had for about a year and a half, we had maybe 85 to 100 members. And now we have almost 350.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And there seems to be a real groundswell of probably not even new women collectors, but women collectors who now feel empowered or feel the camaraderie that has started with leaders like yourself and other women in the industry, making it that safer place. I mean, are you seeing that too? Like when you're looking around social, a lot of women collectors coming to the forefront.
I am. And another thing that I've noticed, that there's a lot of women collectors who have usernames that don't indicate that they're women. And I'm not sure if it's just, I don't know why they done it, but I'm assuming it's because, being kind of a minority in the hobby, they're afraid of being, charged more for a card or not respected as the way they should. And that was one of the first things that really shocked me when I started following them on Instagram and on Twitter, that their usernames were, I'm like, that's a man's name. They're like, no, it's mine. I'm like, okay. But I'm seeing a lot. I mean, with like She Collects Cards, Women of the Hobby, you're seeing more women come to the forefront and present themselves in the hobby and show their knowledge of the hobby. And I think that's really helping other women come to the forefront and hopefully start attending shows. Their presence is really big online, but you don't always see them at shows or any other event. And
that's a great point. And they have a presence about them online, and when you see them at shows, that it just hits different than a lot of the stuff that we've seen for years and years. And talk about our Roadshow Cards founder and owner, Jimmy Mahan's a huge fan of inclusivity, equality, and there was a meetup at Trade Night a few years back at the Roadshow Cards Card Collector 2 Trade Night. How did that come about?
That was great. So I met Kathy last year at the National in 2021, and she was like, we're having this get together, and I'm like, awesome, this is amazing. So I think that was really a big part of it, seeing that picture float around online of all of those women together in one space. I think it might have brought some awareness to other women who collect that, okay, maybe I can go to a show or to a trade night and I'm not going to be the only woman there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Sara Layton is never one to rest on her laurels, right? She always, just as the Layton company does, you guys keep raising the bar. And for 2022, you've got something quite special planned. So why don't you tell us all about that?
Sure. So I've had a lot of conversations with other women in the hobby, and we were discussing ways of bringing more women to card shows. And one of the ideas that was floated around was maybe sponsoring a woman to attend the National. So I had reached out to Megan, who works for the National, and said, hey, how do I go about this? I want to buy a couple tickets, but I want to be able to transfer the name to the woman who wins the tickets. And she says, I'll just give you 2. I said, great, that's awesome. So then I said, okay. So I initially went about it, and we were going to give away 4 tickets because I still wanted to give away 2 tickets. And since then, somebody else has come out, and I cannot think of his username, so I apologize. He said, hey, I'm a father of, I think he said 3 daughters. I love what you're doing. I want to help donate to have more women attend the show. So now we're up to 8 VIP tickets to the National this year in Atlantic City.
Wow.
So exciting.
That's so cool. Like, how does that feel? Like, I know you'll try to be modest and not say much, but how does it make you feel to know that kind of you're leading that charge of kind of a new generation of women in the hobby?
It feels really good. I'm starting to feel like I'm doing something in the hobby on my own. Layton Sports Cards obviously has been around for 10 years, and we're a bigger name in the hobby, but Sara Layton is not on camera. You don't see me often. I do attend a lot of events, but I'm normally kind of just working, right? So I feel like with this, it's kind of helped myself grow. And I've actually, believe it or not, I did not collect before. I collect now. So now, I'm kind of on the other side of it now too. But yeah, it feels really good, and I'm so excited to be able to offer, the opportunity for women to attend the show. Yeah,
that's well, we're gonna host you ladies at the trade night again this year, so a lot of fun to be had. So I guess the most promising sign you've seen so far that women are finally being accepted in a hobby, and maybe the one area that we still need to grow as an industry.
I'm seeing more people retweet or share content that's been created by women, so that's a huge thing. I know, the Luca Nation Network is doing a 10 for 10 women in the hobby.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And the Instagram account it's called Card Porn. They actually just shared Women of the Hobby, Sam from Women of the Hobby, and had tagged a bunch of women in that post too. So I'm hoping a lot of people start following her content. As for something that we need to improve on, it's the comments that you see on these posts. They're not always positive. What's her name? Rachel, the coach. She just coached the minor league affiliate to the Yankees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there was a post about her, and it's amazing. She's the first woman to do it, and her jersey is going to go into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, a lot of the comments underneath of it are negative. And I think it's stuff like that we need to. I don't want to say to cause like a fight or an argument, but I think we need to stand up for women in that sense. You see somebody commented and said, what does she do? Make sandwiches for the team? And it's like,
well, there's one thing.
We're never going to change everybody's mind, but I think the more that we make comments like that unacceptable, or at least let them know, like, hey, that's not cool that you're saying this or whatever, the more they'll go away.
Yeah, no doubt. One of the things that my coach always taught me, one of my coaches, was that you can't coach stupid. So, like, you can coach a lot of things, but you can't coach stupid. So
that's right.
I'll just leave that there. And then, well, look, if I was wearing a hat, I would tip it to you for all the work you're doing with a bunch of other incredible ladies. We wholeheartedly embrace you in the hobby. Always have. I've known you since 2012. You are Layton Sports Cards. That rich guy is just carrying your water. So thank you for coming on, as always, Sarah. Good luck with everything. And how can people get involved if they want to watch, see, listen, get involved?
So if you want to join the Women in Cards group I have on Facebook, it's called Women in Cards. There's a couple questions. There's, I think, like 2 or 3 questions to get in. You have to be a woman to join, because that's what the members of the group want, and I respect them and will keep it that way. Women in Cards on Facebook. Layton Sports Cards you can follow on all the social medias, just under Layton Sports Cards. We have added Layton Gaming to our catalog of areas, I guess, and all of our social medias for that are under Layton Gaming Official. But if you are a woman and you are interested in attending the National this year, and you would be interested in getting a VIP ticket, you can go to my Instagram page, and I'm sure, Tracy, you can share the link as well.
Yes.
But my personal Instagram page is at Sara Layton 09, and there's a link in my profile that'll take you to just a Google form, and it goes till the end of April, and then we'll pick the 8 winners.
Awesome. Well, Sarah, you are awesome. Thank you so much for your time and for your work. And go take care of that husband of yours, and you guys, and those 2 puppy dogs that we talked about before. I appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, Sarah's awesome. Get involved with that if you will, because it's a great cause. I mean, we just had a story earlier about Trey and his lovely better half, Emily. Like, she bought you one of the most meaningful packs of cards that you've ever had. So don't tell me that women don't belong in this hobby.
Yeah. You should have seen
come on,
Shannon at the San
ladies and
Francisco
gentlemen.
show.
Yeah,
Why don't
no,
you tell us about that?
Yeah.
Ryan's better half.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Shannon
So
is awesome.
Shannon, she works in the city, so she was actually in the area when we were at the San Francisco show. San Francisco show.
It's a
Easy
real
for me to
mouthful.
say, bro.
Yeah. So she was able to walk the show floor with us for the quite a while, a couple of full runs around the thing, and it was fun to watch her. You know, she comes up in the Cali Roadshow attire, so she's walking up to some tables, whether she's
They
with
knew
us
she
or
meant
not.
business right away.
Squad,
Yeah.
bro. Squad goals, man.
So she walks up, and I guess she came back to us. She goes, I had some people asking me if I worked for the Roadshow or I knew the Roadshow guys and all this and that. She's like, yes, I do. You know, I know them. They're you know, all that stuff. And so she actually had some PC pickups as well. She bought some, I think it was either 1960, 1961 or two, something like that. Disney cards that
That's
she bought
awesome.
for. She's a big Disney fan, so she bought these old ones of like Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse and stuff. So it was really cool, and just to see that, you know, that smile on her face and that aspect of, oh, it's 30. It's just like, oh, would you take a 20? You know, watching her do some deals and stuff.
Negotiate.
Yeah.
That's
from the
awesome.
outside looking in was really cool. And
That's
I
awesome.
know it definitely made Ryan's show to see her doing that. And
Yeah.
you know, it's fun to watch her grow, because as I remember when they met, she had no interest or no experience with the hobby at all. So she's definitely taken some big strides and has actually a pretty decent sized PC now with some cool autographs. I know she pulled an autograph of Sabrina Ionesco. So yeah, she's doing well.
Oh man, I thought that
Yeah.
you were gonna say Sabrina the Teenage Witch when you
I
said
know.
that. I was hyped about that.
Either
I mean,
Sabrinas are
either's cool, but
those autos are great either way. And
Yeah.
between Emily, Trey's sainted girlfriend, and someone I think he's called in the past the future Mrs. Huntsman.
That's right.
we've all heard it. We've all heard it.
It broke
and
on the
with
road.
Kevin- Yes, with Kevin and my supportive wives supporting our hobby, and then Kathy Mahan and Holly Diamondstein kind of being part of that Women in Sports Cards group.
They're in the squad.
We're all about it, man.
Yeah.
All
The
about
coolest
that
thing
life.
today was it was a pretty slow day at the shop, but a mom and two daughters came in and looked through the dollar box and just hung out and got a bunch of cards, got some packs, and it was the coolest thing. And you know, getting to talk basketball with one of her daughters was more into it than the other, but it was awesome. And I love that it's becoming more and more not unique, if that makes sense. Like it's becoming normal. And I think that's awesome. Like, that's getting to see that in the shop and not thinking of it as, whoa, you know, there's a woman collecting in the shop.
Yeah.
You know, hope she feels included. Now it's normal. It's mainstream. It's just something that's an occurrence. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Trey, you're 100% right. And I think, like, and maybe this might be taken as an unpopular opinion, but like, pushing the narrative, like, I understand that the narrative needs to be pushed of women in the hobby and inclusion, right? But I feel like, to a degree, when it gets pushed so much and there's like so much drawn to like it needs to be like, you're creating a separation, you're creating a difference, right? And like you said, normalizing it, it's changed so much that it's crazy that there's still this like separation between men and women in the hobby.
I think it is changing, though. I think it is getting better. That's been another episode of Roadshow Roundup. Perhaps our best ever. I don't know. But like it, click the subscribe button, comments. They're all welcome. In fact, while you're watching this episode, what is the one card you would save if everything was burning down? Why don't you tell us that?
Tag us.
AWLs.
Yeah.
And hey guys, I love y'all. We love y'all. And until next week.
See you guys.